The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I have a dear friend. His name is Chaim Chana, but everybody knows him as Howie. Howie Leibowitz. He's an internist in Lakewood. He's a brilliant guy. He studied in Harvard. He taught in Harvard. And after that, he went to Eretz Yisrael to learn in Eshat Torah. He became very close to Rabbi Weinberg, and he taught in the programs of Eshat Torah as well. So he was a doctor, and he told me he was a resident in Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. And one day he's on the third floor, and he hears on the microphone, there's a code blue in the cafeteria. The cafeteria was down on the first floor. Code blue means that somebody's dying. It's a life-threatening situation. He runs downstairs, and he sees that there's a woman on the floor. All the doctors are working on her already. And they say to him, Howie, she's not responding. By that time, they had sent out everybody from the cafeteria, but he was the senior resident, so of course they had to let him up front. And he told me what he had to do was that he had to take an intravenous catheter to put in epinephrine so she shouldn't get a blood clot. And then he took out a defibrillator. That's a machine that gives a shock to the heart to get the heartbeat going, because there was no heartbeat. On the cardiac monitor, there was just a flat line. And he told me he did it 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. And the doctors started walking away, and they looked so sad because they realized, it's over. And he said to me he was going to try one more time, a 7th time. And he tried it, and he pressed the button with tefillah, and all of a sudden, the line popped up. And one doctor yelled, Howie, you got a heartbeat! Howie, you got a heartbeat! And sure enough, he kept on going, and he was able to revive her, and they took her up to the ICU unit. A few hours later, he told me he was back on the 3rd floor. And he was thinking, should he go back to see how she's doing? He had called to find out, and she was okay. But, it's not his patient. But then he remembered her name is Kelly. His name is Leibowitz. That would be a tremendous Kiddush Hashem if Mrs. Kelly, who's a goy, understands that a Dr. Leibowitz saved her life. He decided he's going to go up there. He comes into the room. There's a man sitting on her bed. And as soon as he walks in, the man jumps up and says, that's the guy. He says, who are you? He says, I'm her husband. I saw that everybody gave up. I was on the other side of the glass partition. They sent me out. They only let the doctors in. And everybody gave up except you. You kept on doing with that defibrillator. I was watching you. And he says to his wife, this is the man who saved your life. And she's crying. She can't stop crying. Finally, listen to what she says to him. She says, Dr. Leibowitz, what should I say? Thank you? That's what you say when somebody holds the door for you. But Dr. Leibowitz, I just want to tell you, next week when I'm home and I see my children, I'm going to stop and I'm going to say, thank you, Dr. Leibowitz. And next week when I take a walk with my husband along the seashore, I'm going to stop for a minute and I'm going to say, thank you, Dr. Leibowitz. And in a few months when my birthday comes, I'm going to stop on my birthday and I'm going to say, thank you. He walked out of the room, Dr. Leibowitz, and as he was walking up the stairs to where he had to be, he said, when I go home, this is what he said out loud to himself, when I go home and I see my wife and my children, I'm going to say thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for my wife and my children. He said, the next time I open up a Chumash and I understand Pshat and a Pasuk, I'm going to say thank you, Rabbi Weinberg. And he said, the next time I walk up the stairs and I don't feel out of breath, I'm going to say thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's what Hakaras HaTov is all about. Thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for every little thing that we have.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org